So today we're going to Equitorial Guinea. You can see Equatorial Guinea with the capital Malabo, somewhere close to Cameroon. Equatorial Guinea is a very interesting country. It's a very small country. A very, very, very small country. You can see it right here. This is the country we're looking at today, somewhere in the central part of Africa. The capital of this country is Malabo. Another island. The interesting thing about this country is that it's an upper middle income country. It's an upper middle, that's the average person in that country earn over $4,000. An average person. So it's one of the few African countries that are not in the lower middle or low income, but rather in the upper middle income country. And it's located in Africa. Same for Cape Verde, having similar thing. And it's another small country in West Africa. This country has 1.3 million people. 1.3 million people, ranking 178 on the ease of doing business and scoring 41.1%. Can we have an economic snapshot of this country? Number one, this country is located in the Central African area, bordering the Bight of Biafra, between Cameroon and Gabon. Bordering the Bight of Biafra, between Cameroon and Gabon. Of course, it has a coastline. Of course, it has a coastline. So it's not a landlocked country. 2,296 kilometers. That is a lot. That is a lot. 296 kilometers. Remember, some country, by the time we are looking at Ethiopia next week, Ethiopia is a very important country in East Africa, but Ethiopia depends on Djibouti. We have done Djibouti. Ethiopia depends on Djibouti to be able to do trade. Why? Because Djibouti is not a landlocked country, but a very, very, very small country. A very, very small country. Djibouti is not a landlocked country, but it's like feeding a lot of countries, supporting them with trade. And so that country depends a lot on services to be able to grow its GDP. The people in Equatorial Guinea are Christian predominantly, Roman Catholic. They also have some Muslim there. Then some animists are there. As at July 2020, estimate was about 836 million people. But in World Bank report, when it was doing business, World Bank report over 1 million people. Language, Spanish. Spanish. That is the language of Equatorial Guinea. The official language. Always remember the essence of this. You are going to go to some country, you might need a modification in your product. A modification in the nature of your product. Maybe in the labeling. And even the language with which your product is labeled. Agree. In this country, coffee, cocoa, rice, yam cassava, banana, palm oil, nut, and livestock are some of the major agri-products. And in the service sector, also in the industrial sector, you have petrol gas, petroleum and natural gas, and sawmilling. This country's total GDP is about $10 billion. Dangote alone is richer than this country. Dangote alone. $10 billion. And the GDP of this country have 50% of the consumption component to be household consumption. If you have been following this series, you know I talk a lot about this component of the GDP because these are all pointer to the nature and the structure of this economy and giving us an insight into how to engage with them if we are going to do business with them. If we are going to do business with them. And you know what? I am not surprised that household consumption is about 50%. I see a consistent correlation or a relationship between low income and high household consumption component. There seems to be a consistent correlation between low income, because there's no money to buy luxury, majority of what is purchased, and what is needed for survival. And what is needed for survival. Per capita income is about $6,000. Remember, $4,000 is the minimum to be categorized as an upper middle income country. Below 1,000 is low income country. An average person earns below $1,000 a year. That means almost an average person in that country. But if it's more than 1,000, between 1,000 and 4,000, that would be lower middle. That's where Nigerian fall. But if it's more than $4,000 a year, that's upper middle. Then before you now get to the upper income country, you will realize that agriculture is doing so little in this country. Agri is 2.5%. The country is very sound with industry. Petrol is doing so well. Gas is doing so well. And remember, some million also in this country. And then the service sector, which is a very new area that many people are talking about, that this is supposed to be a growth engine for Africa under AfCFTA, because many African countries we didn't do well. We lost the Industrial Revolution, but we had the opportunity to partake in this growing service export. In which country around the world have people and individuals that need people to help them with different services from outside their country, because that makes them to pay a cheaper rate without necessarily hiring anybody in their country on full scale employment. A structure in Equitorial Guinea shows that almost 60%, or rather 57% of the population of that country are below 25 years. This is in line with the usual expectation of a typical African country. Usual expectation of a typical African country. So what do you want to export to Equatorial Guinea? Is there a demand for that product? Do you have a compelling value proposition? Do you understand your target market? Can you meet the market price expectation? Do you have a distribution and marketing plan? Do you have the capacity and capability to export? Have you investigated payment issues? Can you fund your export drive? Have you completed a plan to export? In 2018, Equatorial Guinea was number 131 economy in the world in terms of GDP, number 109 in export, 176 in import, 136 in the most complex economy. ECI index, the export of this country was 5.74. Do you notice something? Can you see very positive balance of trade of this country? $5.74 billion, but import 846 million. Amazing. Amazing. Can you imagine? This country is importing far less than what the export is saying. What does this country import? What does it export rather? Crude oil, gas, alcohol, acrylic alcohol, rough wood, gold, and then import beer, poultry meat, and other furnitures, gas turbine. Where does he export to? He exports to China, Portugal, India, United States, and Spain, and import from Spain also, from China, from United States, from France, and also from Netherlands. Of course, you expect Spain to be both, because that's the colonial master.
To get the full video, check the description or visit www.globaltradecollege.com.